have 2 new words to add to your new word list. So go to the end of your book, find your new word list. Everybody? And the one word is envious. Okay? So, yeah, it should be very back of the book. Go ahead and put envious right there. And copy it off this card. Here's your pencil. And on page 5, I'm going to read you this word in a sentence and see if you can figure out what it means. Okay? The next morning, I looked on enviously as the Germans each enjoyed 2 slices of bread. So envious means jealous. Very good. So write jealous in this meaning column.
I really wanted that. How do you get it?
Yeah, exactly. He only gets 1 piece of bread and they get 2. Okay. And then the next word is feign, F-E-I-G-N. This one's spelled a little tricky. Write it down in your book. Write in your notebook. Feign. When you feign something, you pretend or fake it. Okay, so you can put pretend. Let's go to the book so you can kind of see how it's used in the sentence on page 11. While we feigned eating our bread, the officers and soldiers spoke in the hallway. So are they really eating their bread? No, they're pretending to eat the bread. What they're really doing is listening in on the soldiers. So I feigned doing my homework when my mother came by. I feigned to be asleep because
It was your bedtime.
it was my bedtime and my mother was checking on me, right? So try to use those words in sentences as you're writing and as you're reading. So boys and girls, you have read The Wooden Apple, and we have thought about our inferences, we've thought about character traits and feelings, but we have also discussed symbols and symbolism. So today I want you to write and explain what an apple symbolizes to Theo. So there's 3 times in the story where the apple is mentioned, and I'm just going to write down those pages in case you want to use them in your writing, okay? So you might start with, the apple is a symbol in the story called the wooden apple. That might be a nice topic sentence. And then you're going to explain what the apple means, and then you're going to give examples of where the apple appears in the story, all right? Okay, so your plan would be to write down on your next blank page, apple, okay, and put a dash, and now think about what does it symbolize? Okay.
The apple represents good times.
Good times, I love it. Anything else that you want to share? Any other ideas?
Hope.
Hope, love it. So those are 3 choices. Now you're going to choose one. Choose one that you think would be a good example of what the apple symbolizes, right? And then you're going to say, now in the story, you know, on page 5, and then you're going to say where the apple is mentioned and why it symbolizes hope or thankfulness or good times. Okay, get started. Write your topic sentence. Remember, your topic sentence should always include the keywords of the prompt. So what would be the keywords in the prompt? The apple.
Yeah, the apple.
And what's another keyword?
Symbolizes.
Good. So you might start with that. The apple symbolizes, and then decide what your keyword's going to be. That's your first sentence.
He accidentally bumps his head and he finds the wooden apple in behind his pillow.
Good. That's a perfect example. And then your next sentence would say how that wooden apple symbolizes hope.
Okay.
Can you come up with something? What would you say about that? What is their hope for?
Hope for food and like
Okay, now think about this. Who gave him the apple?
the German soldiers.
Who were the enemy, right? So the enemy gave him an apple. It symbolizes hope. Hope for what?
For
Not just for food, but think about this war. So there might be hope that
the war is going to end.
there you go, and that people can be not fighting but
Work together.
work together. And think about how much he liked those German soldiers, and he even called them his German soldiers. So he considered them his enemy or his
Friend.
right? Do you have some ideas now? Okay, I'll come back to you in a minute.
So how would you scaffold kids to really get them to start drawing conclusions on this evidence that they're they're getting.
Conclusions do make the reader I usually say, tell me more. So if they say, oh, the apple symbolizes thankfulness, and at the beginning of the story, you know, he was thankful for the apples. Well, you need to tell me more. So why is he thankful for the apples? So phrases like tell me more, tell me why, think about why that's important to this character. Then you're going to get them to go beyond. Because you're right, these children tend to write what was in the book, and they're really confident with that.
Right.
But they have to start thinking about those kinds of answers that come from their head. And usually they start with why. So what we need to do is teach the children to ask those why questions when they're writing.
So a lesson on red questions would be a really good lesson.
Definitely.
To, you know, maybe go back and help them come up with pulling out that elaboration.
Or even I could have done, you know, why is the apple a symbol of thankfulness? Or why is so they came up with the apple, the symbol of hope. So why do you think it's a symbol of hope? I could have prompted them to do that too.
So taking the prompt, turning it into a question would sometimes help them
Yes.
get to that
That deeper level.
The deeper level. Okay.